All right, so for class today, you're going to need one strap and 2 blocks. If you don't have a strap, you can use a towel. And if you don't have blocks, you can also use books, or you can just do the poses without the blocks. Today we're going to get into shoulders and hips. So a 45-minute class, 30 minutes of it will be practice, and the last 15 minutes will be sound bath, meditation, Shavasana. So let's start lying on our backs in Supta Baddha Konasana. So the soles of the feet are together, and then just start to lower your back all the way down to the earth. Rest one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart. And close the eyes and then start to invite your Ujjayi breath into the body. So together we'll take a deep inhale. And then exhale, just let the breath go. And just arrive into your space. Letting anything go. Just noticing the breath in the body. Feel the inhales and the exhales. Just start to breathe with effortless ease. Start to deepen the breath, expand the throat. Notice a small vibration at the back of the throat. And start to make an audible inhale and audible exhale. Invite any intention into your practice tonight. And release the hands, and then close your knees. Nice and slow. Separate your feet about hip width distance, and then flatten your lower back. So tilt the pelvis so the small of your back is nice and flat to the earth. And then open your feet a little bit wider than your mat and start to dip your knees to the right. The right hand goes into the inner right thigh. Take a breath here. And then slowly switch to the left side, lift the knees to the sky, and then bring both knees to the left side. Left hand goes into the inner left thigh. Bring your knees all the way back to center. Walk your feet back in, and then bring your knees into your chest. Start to make small circles to the right. Place your hands on your kneecaps. Getting into the lower back, sacrum. And then alternate your direction. And then float your heels to the sky, relax your toes. Wrap your hands on the outside of your feet and draw your knees in towards your armpits. So happy baby here. It can rock from right to left a little bit. This is our first one, so you'll start to notice where your hips are at in this pose, how your legs feel, how your body feels. Not too much pressure in this pose. We'll take another inhale.
exhale, just float your feet back to your mat, hip width distance. And then take your right ankle on top of your left thigh. Open the right knee first. Keep your left foot planted and take your right hand to the inside of your right thigh and just push your right thigh away from you. And then interlace your hands underneath the left thigh and draw the left knee in towards your chest. The right elbow can press into the right thigh just to get a little bit deeper. And then float your left foot down to the mat, take your right foot down. And then switching sides, left ankle on top of right thigh. Keep your right foot planted. And then with your left hand, press in the inside of your left thigh. So just pushing the thigh away, opening up that hip flexor, creating some space here. And then release. And interlace your hands underneath the right thigh. Draw the knee in. Press the left elbow into the inner left thigh. And we'll just get into that pose a little bit deeper. And then float your right foot down to the earth. Open your feet wide. We'll do another windshield wiper, nice and slow, and take your time going to the right and just holding it here. Keep the right hand in the inner right thigh. You can start to feel the stretch a lot more if you have your feet a lot wider than your mat. You can even inch your feet and open your legs a little bit more in the pose, and you'll start to feel that nice stretch in your left hip flexor. So getting into the left hip more than the right. And then bring your knees back to center, and then take your knees to the left side, keeping it nice and wide. Left hand in the inner left knee, and maybe inch your right foot a little bit wider than your mat, and you'll feel that nice hip release in the hip flexor. And then bring it back to center. Let's hug our knees back into our chest one more time. Just rock from right to left this time. And then place your hands underneath the thighs, and then just gently rock yourself all the way up. And then we'll bring ourselves onto our heels. This is where we're going to need the strap or your towel. And so sitting on your heels, if this isn't comfortable for you, you can always place a block underneath your hips. Separate your feet, and your block will be right underneath your hips and flat to the mat. And then take your strap and shoulder width distance here. Bring the strap in front of you, grabbing the strap. Bring your shoulder sockets in, and then lift. Bring your hands all the way above your head. And then start to pull the strap. And just feel that nice tension there, the release. And then bring it forward. Exhale, lift. Inhale, forward. And then exhale, lift. Let's do
2 more of those on your own. Maybe close your eyes. Keep pulling the strap away from each other. And last one. Nice. Just place the strap on your thighs and then take the right hand to the sky. Place it on the left side of your cheek and then draw the right ear down to the right shoulder. Now with your left hand, just to get into the stretch a little bit deeper, you can open the left arm. Maybe your fingertips reach the earth, or you can hover your left hand above your mat and then draw your right ear to right shoulder. Breathe into that stretch. And then slowly release, lift the head, switching sides. Left arm lifts and goes on the outside of your right cheek. Take an inhale to lift, exhale to draw your left ear to left shoulder. And then open the right arm. You can float the arm or hover it, or you can place your fingertips on the earth. And then inhale, lift, exhale, release, getting into the stretch a little bit deeper. And then slowly release the hand, bring your head all the way back up. Inhale, lift the arms, interlace the hands and press the palms to the sky. Really draw the shoulders towards the ears and then release the shoulders down your back. Feels good. Inhale, lift towards the ears and then exhale, release. 2 more. Inhale, lift, draw the navel in, keep the lower back protected. Exhale, release. Last one, inhale, lift, and then exhale, release. Nice, and then place the hands behind the nape of your neck. Inhale, lift the chest, and you'll see the ribs are splaying. Tuck those ribs in and tuck your belly in. Nice, keeping it nice and controlled. Now take yourself to the right, just a little twist. Keep the belly engaged. And then back to center. Draw the navel in and go to the left side. And then back to center. And then release the arms, grab the strap again, this time a little bit wider. And then bring it in front of you, pull the strap. So there's tension, and then lift all the way up. And then exhale, forward. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, forward. Draw the ribs in, draw the belly in. Inhale, lift. So keeping everything into the midline. Exhale, back. And then last one, inhale, lift. Really pull the strap away, exhale. Let's release this strap all the way down. And then bring the hands behind the nape of your neck. Inhale, lift the head, exhale. Start to draw your elbows down, tuck your belly in, and let's get into the back of the neck. And then if you want, you can tilt your chin to the right shoulder, and then tilt your chin to the left. And then bring it back to center. Navel drawn in, feel that release. And then gently lift all the way back up and down. Grab the strap again, and then open the arms nice and wide. This time on your inhale, we're gonna lift all the way up. And maybe you go a little bit wider. Bring your shoulder or your hands all the way behind you. Nice. You might need to adjust your arms or tilt. It's hard for me to keep them straight, so sometimes I bend one elbow and bend the other. Bring it in front, and then again lift all the way up, and then back nice and slow, nice do 2 more of those. Inhale, lift up. And then exhale, bring it behind you. Draw the navel in, keep your core nice and tight. Inhale, lift up. And then last one. All the way up and then back. Feel that rotation. And then inhale, lift. And then exhale, release the strap. There we go. Just shake out the arms. Grab fist here, and let's just do some wrist rotations. One direction and then the other. Nice. And then we'll use the strap again. I'm going to face this way so you guys can see. We're going to take the strap over the shoulder. Actually, bring it behind your shoulders. And then the right hand will grab the strap. The left hand will take behind our back like this. So the top of your hand is facing your back. And then grab the strap. If you can grab your hands, grab your hands. And then the ribs will splay out, so I want you to tuck those ribs in. And then try to inch your hands towards each other. Grab the strap, pull the strap away from each other. And then lift the chest, lift the chin. Feel a nice stretch here. And then on your exhale, start to fold, keeping your hands on the strap, and then lower down to the earth. Inhale, let's lift all the way back up. And then exhale, release. Other side. So with the left side, place the strap on your shoulder. Right hand, the top of your hand will face your back. And then start to grab the strap. Lift the left elbow straight to the sky. So you want your left elbow stacked over your shoulder. And then inch your hands towards each other. If you can, ribs will splay out, so start to tuck them in. Lift your hip bones to the sky. Lift the chest, lift the neck. And then inhale here. Exhale, try to get a little deeper. Feel the stretch. And then fold nice and slow. Feel the stretch as you go all the way down. Try to bring your head to the mat, and wherever you're at is fine. Inhale to lift, and then exhale to release. And then just place your strap next to your mat on the side, and then hands forward, knees go back into our cat and cow. So let's start to move organically here. Freestyle movements, hips shifting back and forth, maybe exaggerating the dips a little bit so we get into the outer parts of the legs and the hips. And then roll back towards your heels. Walk the hands forward, shift your hips forward. Do any kind of movement here that feels good. Round the back. Two more cycles of breath here. And then float your way to a tabletop pose. On your inhale, lower your belly and lift your heart, lift your tailbone. Exhale, start to press into the earth. Spread your shoulder blades. And inhale, lower belly. Flip your tailbone. Exhale, press. Two more cycles of breath. Inhale, lift the heart. Lift the chest. Exhale, press. Really tuck it in. Knit those ribs in towards your belly button. Spread the top of your shoulder blades nice and wide. And last round, inhale, lift the heart, lift the crown forward, roll those shoulders back. Exhale, press into the mat.
Push the mat away from you. Lift your whole back. Press the tops of your feet into the earth. And then start to lower your hips towards your heels. Nice and slow. Inhale, press up. And exhale, neutral spine. Inhale, the right arm lifts all the way to the sky. Open the heart, open the chest. Exhale, take your right shoulder all the way through. Threading the needle. Right shoulder, right cheek. And then tiptoe, walk the left hand towards the top of your mat. Start to wrap. Wrap your left shoulder towards the earth. Hips are squared. Breathe into the right shoulder. Breathe into this small twist in the spine. And then slowly walk your left hand, bring it back towards your body, lift yourself up. Do 2 cat and cows. Inhale, lift the chest forward. Exhale, press. And inhale, lift. And then exhale, press. Other side, left hand lifts all the way up. Exhale, lift, shoulder down, left cheek is down. And then walk the right hand to the top of your mat. Wrap your right shoulder towards the earth. And then take your right shoulder into the right shoulder socket. Try to press into your left shoulder into the earth. And then rotate, squaring your shoulders towards your mat. Inhale, press up, walk your right hand towards your body, bring yourself back to tabletop, and then shift forward, shift back. Do a couple of these. And just letting it feel good. And then inhale, lift the right leg all the way towards the back. Do a couple circles with the right ankle. Just rotating it out. And then draw the right knee all the way through. Plant in between your hands. And then scoot your left knee back into our low lunge, Anjaneyasana. And then dip your left hip towards the earth. Now this is a great time to use your blocks. So you can place your hands underneath the block here, if that feels good, or on the medium setting. Or you can perch up your fingertips and stay lifted in this way as well. And we'll sink into this pose, feeling the stretch. And then slowly take your right foot all the way back. Move your hips from right to left. Other side, left leg lifts. Stack your shoulders over your wrists, keeping that nice and firm first. And then just roll out your left ankle. Couple rolls to the right, to the left. Draw the left knee all the way through. Plant between your hands. If you have blocks, you can use your blocks. And then dip your right hip in towards the earth. Still keeping your hips nice and squared. Let's just relax into the pose. And breathe, maybe close the eyes. And then release the pose. Just take your left foot back. And widen your knees into our child's pose. Send your hips back all the way down. Forehead goes down to mat. Tiptoe your fingertips towards the front. Sink into the pose. inhale, let's float ourselves back to our tabletop. And then flip your toes. Gonna get into a nice foot stretch. And a few different ways to get into this. You can simply just rest your hips on your heels like so. Plant your hands forward. So you're still bracing yourself. And then if you want to go a little bit deeper, you can always walk your hands back and then place them on your thighs and sit completely on your heels. So feel different options here. Maybe close the eyes. It's a nice time to reflect. Think about your intention. Concentrate on your breath, your Ujjayi breath, and deepen into it. Really spread your toes. Try to get all 5 toes on your mat. Letting it feel good. And then release the pose. Walk your hands back and just tops of the feet. Just flutter it out. Bring your hips to your heels. Grab your block or your books, whatever you're using, and place 2 blocks in front of you, like so. And then we'll place our elbows on the blocks about halfway, walking your elbows closer towards the back side of the block. And then open the knees, and then start to take your hips towards your heels. You might flip your toes, that might be easier. And then start to float your forehead down to your mat. And then sink into this pose. You should feel a nice stretch here underneath the armpits, the shoulders. Bring your hands on the top of your back. Two more cycles of breath here. Nice. And then inhale, let's float ourselves all the way back up. Release the blocks. And then take the right ankle, right leg all the way back to those rotations. And then take the right leg outside of your mat. And then sink your hips to your left heel. Walk your hands forward. And then rest your forehead on your mat. Modification to this is you can walk your hands forward into a puppy pose and then melt your chest. So 2 different ways to get into this pose. I personally like this one the best. Feel a nice stretch in the inner thigh. Nice. And then let's inhale, lift all the way up. Take your right foot all the way back. And then bring the right foot all the way through, plant in between the hands. Again, you can use your blocks here if that feels good. And then roll the shoulders back. Sink into the hips and breathe. And then bring your hips back, walk your blocks with you. We place them on the medium setting. And then tilt your foot to the right. So getting into the inner leg, inner thigh. And then bring your foot to the left side. Point your toes to the left, getting into the outer right leg.
forward, bring yourself back to our Anjaneyasana. Take 2 breaths here. And then release the pose, place your hands on your mat. Just take your left or your right foot back into our tabletop. Shift your hips right to left. And then lift your left leg behind you. Rotation with the left ankle. And then take your left foot on the outside of your mat. Either walk your hands forward for a puppy pose or walk your hands back and then bring your hips to your right heel. Walk your hands forward and then your forehead goes onto your mat. And then relax your left leg. Really sink your hips towards your mat. And then inhale, let's lift ourselves back to our tabletop. And then take our left leg all the way back. Bring the left foot all the way through Anjaneyasana. Scoot your right knee back. Hands go on the blocks if need be. Sink into the pose for 2 counts of breath. And then start to shift your hips towards the back. Getting into our half splits. Point your toes to the left. Let that feel good. And then point your toes to the right. Walk your blocks back forward, back into Anjaneyasana for 2 counts of breath. Really let everything go here. And then float your left foot back. Release your hands from your blocks. Let's walk our hands forward, shift our hips forward, release that pose, upward facing dog, sink into the hips, and then take it back, tabletop. Open the knees, maybe open the knees a little bit wider, and then send your hips back so it's a little wider than your mat, child's pose. Walk your hands forward. Chest rests on your mat. Chin is either on your mat or your forehead. And then walk your hands towards your body. Scoot your knees back in. And setting up for frog pose. So you can do a one-legged frog or you can do full expression. I'll show you both. Our one-legged frog, we're going to lower belly all the way down to the earth and then just place your right leg in a 90-degree angle, flex the left leg, 90-degree angle, and then flex the left foot. Place your hands in front of you, forehead goes on top of your hands and just resting right here. And if you're not feeling that much of a stretch in that pose, you can do full frog. I suggest doing it wide on your mat so that your knees have protection. And then just open your hips, flex your feet, and then start to slowly come down to either your forearms, like so, or you can bring your hands like this, bring your forehead on top of your hands. So wherever you're at with your flexibility, you can open the knees wider. This pose is pretty flexible in this pose, so
All right, draw the navel in, still keep it activated. Count for 2 cycles of breath. And then coming out, slowly just walk your hands towards you and bring your knees together. Rest your hips to your heels. Nice. And then roll your hips to the right or left side. And then start to slowly lower your body all the way down to the earth. So getting into our sound bath and meditation. I want you guys to lay on your mats like so. And then bring your hands above your head, grab opposite elbows. And then bring your arms to the left corner of your mat. Your hips will stay in place. And then take your legs to the left corner of your mat. And then you'll feel a nice stretch in the whole right side body. Nice stretch in the shoulders. And just relax, close your eyes. And then let your body sink. And then stay there. Let your body melt. Breathe into the pose. You can come out of it whenever you'd like into a Shavasana, but we will switch sides. So. Switching your grip on your elbows. Take both arms to the right corner of your mat. Keep your hips in the center of your mat. And then walk your feet to the right corner. You can cross them if that feels good. Getting into that whole left side body, the arms, the shoulders, the hips. And just relax into the pose. Your body melt. Just tilt and lift your hip bones off. Place the block underneath your sacrum. Nice and slow, lower the hips down. So supported bridge is option one. Or what I like to do is I like to place the soles of my feet together. Supta Baddha Konasana. It's a nice hip release here. Or another option is you can open both legs all the way down to your mat. And just let the arms open, the chest, the legs. And this nice restorative opening of the hips. And you can remain here for the remainder of the class. And at any point you can release the block. And then we'll continue to do a little mini sound bath while you're in your final Shavasana. So sinking into the mat, letting go of the practice. Taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then letting everything go.
Maybe stretch your arms above your head and point your toes or wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, bringing some awareness back into the body, back into this space. And slowly press yourself and roll over to the left side body in a fetal position. This is our grounding side. And any last intentions, prayers, thoughts. And then start to press yourself all the way into Sukhasana, seated pose. And sitting nice and tall in our Sukhasana, place your hands in Anjali Mudra. Thumbs pressing into heart center. Together we'll take one deep breath in. Deep breath out. And we'll do one Om. Inhale to prepare. Exhale to release. And one Om. And bring your hands to third eye. And then hands to the earth. And thank you for taking the time to practice with me. Thank you for sharing your energy. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.